Getting punctuation right in other languages. That's easy, right? Well, if you saw my post about speech punctuation in novels, you'll know that'd be no. But we're not going so grand here. Punctuating speech correctly can be a little bit of a nightmare, but how often are you going to have to do that? Unless you're me, of course, and you decide to try putting a story into correct speech punctuation for the language, like I did last month with my new continuing story. But let's get a little more basic. One of the things that Duolingo is very bad about is requiring you to use punctuation in your responses, translations, etc. You don't even have to put a full stop at the end of a sentence to get a correct mark, or start your sentences with a capital letter. Except in one situation where it does seem to matter. Well, in one language, because that's the only one I'm using at the moment. Not sure about the others. We'll get into that in a minute. Some languages have some very specific requirements that Duolingo does not require you to do. In Spanish, for example, you don't get used to using the upside-down question marks and exclamation marks at the beginning of questions and exclamations, because they don't make you do it. What, you didn't know they existed? You might have noticed, but not everyone will, and you weren't required to use them, so what's the problem? The problem is it's incorrect. And yes, I know it's grammar, and who cares about grammar these days? But you will if you go to a country and you have to, for example, fill out an official form, perhaps a job application, or even just write a note. Back to Spanish. All questions and exclamations should have the relative upside-down version at the beginning of the question or exclamation, so you know it's a question or an exclamation. I know other languages just rely on intonation, which you can't see on the page, but Spanish doesn't. Now, when I was at school, these were always just put at the beginning of the sentence. But when reading, you realise that sometimes they don't do that. They just put it around the question or exclamation part of the sentence. You should at least attempt to get this right. And if Duolingo doesn't train you to do that, you're probably not even going to think about it, are you? What about German? German grammar is probably the strictest I've seen in the languages I've learned. Let's ignore the fact that Duolingo doesn't make you put capital letters on nouns, which is required in German, because that's not punctuation. Commas. It's usually commas, but I guess it can be colons or semicolons. Where things are in a sentence is very important, and different clauses need to be separated by commas. Does Duolingo make you put these in? No, it doesn't. Not for ages, until you get to those newer, longer stories, where you have the chance to write a sentence or two at the end. There, Duolingo marks it as wrong, or rather, highlights your error if you don't put in the correct punctuation, which you haven't been taught, because they don't require it anywhere else. And I keep forgetting to put a comma before and. Although it doesn't always seem to require one, so that's confusing the heck out of me. I don't think people should get penalised for getting punctuation wrong, like losing lives, assuming those are still a thing in the free version. But I do think it should be highlighted in a way that makes people believe that they need to add it in. The only exception to this might be when you say a sentence rather than typing it, because going back and correcting what has been auto-typed is a pain. It's bad enough when it mishears you. And this is genuinely supposed to be like a verbal response. Not exactly a conversation, but saying rather than writing. And you don't have punctuation when you're actually speaking to someone, unless it's in a book. Why am I so worked up about this? Because over the years, using the phone now more than the web app, I've started getting lax with putting punctuation in, and I have to catch myself not doing it and make an effort to think about it. This is not good. Writing in a language is not texting, where anything goes for many. Punctuation is important, and we should at least be trying to get it right. So Duolingo, add a punctuation update to my list of could-do-betters, please.